Hello and welcome to September 2019 Energy Trends. I'm Danielle Rama Hoffman of DivineTransmissions.com. This is Thoth with the Rose Panel Beings of Light, including the Magdalenes, the Path of the Venus Light Beings of Light, and the try moving more into the forefront of this divine transmission. We are delighted to be continuing our journey in 2019 with this energy transmission. If you've been following along with our transmissions thus far this year, we have spoken a lot about this year 2019 being a very magical year, and a magical year to evolve, an evolutionary year, and a year to evolve. And evolution is simultaneously that which once was necessary that no longer is, coming to a place of completion, and that which is now necessary being turned on, emerging, moving into. So in August, there was a very in-depth focus on divine genius. We even have been calling August 2019 Divine Genius Month. Divine genius, your ascended mastery, your unique gifts and talents, that which is really at the essence of your most adept way of being. And that's simultaneously vibrational and also actualized in a form in which you express that genius. Yet at its essence, it's really vibrational. It's a vibrational state. It's a home zone where you are in your adeptness. You're in the environment of your divine genius. As we move into September, this magic that comes from your divine genius is also what creates a lot of evolution. What creates a lot of evolution. Now we know that you may have been holding on to that which you've outgrown quite tightly, and you may have been happy to also complete things or to let things fall away. You may have noticed that there have been relationships that once were more primary that now are more in the background. There may be this movement that you've been experiencing in terms of different transitions. And we would invite you to, as you're beginning September, to really lean into having an open hand, having an open space, having something that isn't occupied so that the new energy can fill that space. So let's say that most optimal person, opportunity, experience, job, home, dog, whatever it is coming your way and comes into your life. Is that spot already filled? Now, we're not saying to open up all spaces by completing everything in your life, yet do you have space to welcome that in? Is there anything that's cluttering up that space that actually you've outgrown? It's a little bit like you wouldn't carry with you your shoes from when you were 1 year old, 2 year old, 3 year old, 4 year old. Think of all the shoes you've had 5 years old, 6 years old, especially when you're growing in a rapid way. In those earlier years, those shoes really can be grown out of quite quickly. And then you have shoes for 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, however old you are. And then when you reach that size, that is your size, that more or less doesn't change, it's like keeping your old running shoes or keeping your shoes from when you were 30. And you may have shoes that still very much work for you, that you've had for a long time. So we're not saying to just get rid of everything, yet we're using this analogy to just take a moment and look and imagine this concept that we're putting forward here, this analogy that you're carrying around everywhere you walk. You have this backpack, let's say, and it has the shoes, all the shoes you've ever had. Or let's say it's a roller bag or a duffel bag. Or you can even imagine that you have your shoes on now, and yet there's a string to your previous shoes, and the shoes before that, and the shoes before that, and the shoe before that. So every time you go to take a step in a new direction, there's this whole line of all the shoes that you've worn on your right foot and all the shoes you've worn on your left foot, all the way back to even when you were born, that just, they don't fit. You've outgrown them. It doesn't make them bad. It doesn't make them wrong. It doesn't make you better now than when you were 5. It's simply no longer your path. It's no longer a perfect match for where you are. So we'd invite you to really and we'll spend a few moments here opening some space for you to allow an awareness of this concept to come forward, and then to see, where is it that if everything you've been asking for came into your life right here, right now, like where is it that you may not have the space? Sometimes we use the analogy of, let's say you have a port and there are different docks on the port, and that you're asking for greater joy, you're asking for deeper fulfillment, you're asking for more abundance, you're asking for community, you're asking for love, you're asking for all of these aspects of energy and a higher vibration. And let's say each of those choices, those requests that you're calling in, are boats. And yet you have in your dock boats that may not even be yours. They may be boats that you bought from the tribal consciousness. They may be boats that you've been carrying for your ancestors. They may be boats that you've been carrying from your 20s or your 30s, or even what you could call past lives. And so you're so excited that dream home is on its way, or that dream support team is on its way, or that multidimensional abundance is on its way, or whatever it is. You've called it in. It's coming into the dock. And yet there's no space. There's no space for it to dock on your port, because that port is full with something that's outdated. Now, we want to be very clear. We are not saying blow up your life to create space. What we are saying is to notice if you have any shoes that you're wearing that you've outgrown, or if there's anything docked at your port that isn't really exactly what you're calling in, and that what are some of those easy ones that you can liberate right away. So this can be very vibrational, where you notice there's a thought or a belief or a way of being, and it can also be very physicalized, where you go, okay, I notice that my closet is completely full. If I had a beautiful outfit that came into my life, I have no space to put in my closet. Or my cabinet is completely full, whatever it is, and you just create an empty drawer, even symbolically. You have a space that's empty. And it's not empty, it's simply a placeholder for that which you're calling in. Because you wonder at times, well, why isn't something actualizing? And there can be a lot of different aspects to when things come into your third dimension, as well as all the dimensions, and when things don't. And so we're not going into, well, a general, this is why. Yet one of the reasons may be that you're trying to fill your closet with shoes that aren't really a fit for you. So open up space in September, open up space for the magic. And sometimes the space is simply being present to notice the magic that's already there. So let's take a few moments in the silence as we're bringing this transmission towards the place of completion in the next few minutes, for you to just close your eyes and to scan, just like you've probably in meditations done body scans where you scan your head and your whole body just to notice where there's tension, where there's not. Do a bit of an energy scan. Do a bit of an emotional scan, a mental scan, a physical scan, and also a vibrational scan. And you may also look at your life, your relationships, all of that, and just notice in general. Like if we were to come to your house right now and you were to show us around and we say, okay, open your refrigerator. Is every space in your refrigerator full? Open your drawer in your nightstand. Is that completely full? Or is there space? Like that's a physical way that we could see. Well, maybe you actually are quite minimalist, and what we're saying is there's a lot of space, and yet perhaps you're super, 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 super holding everything out, which is a different thing. Yet it can be related as well. So let's just take a few moments in the silence for you to scan. If your dream life showed up on your doorstep right now, do you have the space to welcome it in? Do you have the space to include it? And if not, ask your higher self, ask your connection to source, ask your connection to the light beings that you're connected with, including us if you choose, to just gently in a natural way, not in a dramatic way, not in a way that blows up your life, in a natural way, just support you to create more space, to give away those shoes that you've outgrown and create more space. So just doing this scan for a few minutes in the silence. And if you sense that your port's full, vibrationally, physically, emotionally, mentally, everything in between, evolutionary, just ask your higher self, in line with your free will and conscious choice, to naturally support you in opening up that space, liberating that space. Beautiful. All is light, and we are all.